Okay, good afternoon class. So for today we will continue the other subtopic in the chapter 7, which is function. So from our previous class, we already learned about what is function, the type of the function, which is predefined and also user-defined function. Then you also already learned about the value returning function. But for today, before I will proceed with the other subtopic in the function, so we will discuss first your previous exercise for the last week. Okay, from your previous exercise, you need to write a function average that receives 3 scores and returns the average of the 3 scores. Then you need to write a function named gradePoint that receives average marks and returns the point received based on the average. Then you need to write the main functions in order to process the points that 10 students will receive at the end of the semester. So in the main function, you need to call the average function and also the grade point function. Okay class, so first I will show you. For the first question, they ask you to create a function average that will receive 3 scores and also returns the average of the 3 scores. So here, first you need to have the data type and also the function name, which is you will have the data type float and the function name is average score. Then you will have the parameter here with the parameter list. So here you will return the average, right? So in the parameter, you need to have 3 scores, which is first you will have intx, inty, and also intz. That will refers to the score 1, score 2, and also score 3. Then you will have the body of the function, which is you will have the cout statement, whereas you need to enter 3 scores. Then you will have the cin, which is where you will enter the x, y, and also z. Then you will return the x plus y plus z divided by 3.0 because you want to return the average. Okay, for the second question, you need to write a function named gradePoint that will receive average marks and return the point received based on the average. So here, they already give you the table for the average and also the point. So here you need to have the if-else statement. So here you will create another function with the data type float and with the name of gradePoint. And here you will have the parameter, which is float average. Since you need to return the point, so here you also need to declare the point here and initialize it with 0.0 because you already declared it as float. Then you will have the if-else statement. For example here, if average less than equals to 100 and average more and equals to 81, then the point equals to 4.0. Then so on, you will proceed with the else if statement. And lastly, you will have else point equals to 0.0.0. Point equals to 0.00. Then lastly, you will return the point. Okay class, there are some students, whereas I already checked your previous exercise, they will see out here. Okay, for your information, in this question, you did not directly display the point in the function gradePoint. You will just assign the point equals to the value, and lastly you will return the point because you will display the point and at the main function. That's for the second question. While for the third question, you need to write the main function in order to process points that 10 students will receive at the end of the semester. Then in the main function also, you need to call the average and also grade point. Okay, basically when they ask you to process points that 10 students, so here you will have the for loop because you want to process the data for 10 students. So here, first you need to declare and initialize the value for the score 1, 2, and 3. So here you will initialize it equal with int a, b, c equals to 0. Will refers to the score 1, score 2, and also score 3. Then you need to declare the float average and also point equals to 0.0. Then you will have a for loop because you want to display 10 students. So you will have for loop int I equals to 1 because you want to display student 1 until student 10. So we'll start with I equals to 1 and you will have the condition which is I less and equals to 10. Then you will have the increment which is I plus plus. Then you will see out this the student numbers, which is for the first one you have see out student and you will call I, which is for the first I is 1. So you will display the student 1. Then here, in order to have a function call here, you will assign the average with the function call which is average score and the parameter which is A, B, and also C. Okay class, so the function call is where you will call the function average score without the data type and you will change the parameter based on the one that you already initialized in the main. So here for the A, B, and also C, they will refer to the X, Y, and also Z in the function float average score. Then you will assign the point with the function called grade point with the parameter of the average. Then in order to display both the function, so you will have the cout statement here. So here you will have the average score. Then you will call the average that you already assigned with the function average score. Then you will display the point, whereas you already assigned the point with the function grade point. Okay class, don't forget to add the function prototype at the header of the coding, which is you will have the data type and the function name and the parameter with only the data type without the parameter list. You only have the data type for the function prototype. So you will have the float average score in the bracket int, and also int because int is the data type for the 3 scores. Then you will have the float grade point with the data type float. So please remember for the function prototype, you will end it with the semicolon. Okay class, please try to do again these questions and try to run with your compiler. If you still do not understand for this question, you can ask me in the WhatsApp group. Okay guys, so I will try to do this coding. Okay, here I already complete the coding. So here you will have the function prototype with the main function, with the function call which is average score and also grade point. Then you will have the function for the average score. They will return the value of the average of 3 scores. Then you will have the function for the grade point, whereas they will return the point. So here I will try to compile it first. Okay, so here they will display the student 1 and they ask you to enter 3 scores. So first I will enter 80, 89, and 99. Then here they will calculate the average, which is 89.3333, and the point is 4. Then they will proceed with the second student. Okay. So class, so here, because you already have the for loop, whereas they will loop until student 10. So here they will repeat the display statement from the student 1 until the student 10, whereas you need to enter the 3 scores and they will calculate the average and also display the point. So we try for the second students. For example, I want to put the first score is 40, 60, and also 55. Then for the second student, they will display the average score 51.6667 with the point 2. Then you will proceed until the student 10. Okay, so class, so this is the differences between the basic coding with the function. So in the function, they will divide your main function with the other function, whereas you just need to call it in the main function. So it's more easier. Okay, basically, so this is a value returning function, whereas in the function, they will return the value. For example, for the float average score, they will return the average, while for the float grade point, they will return the point. So that's for our previous exercise. So for today, I will cover for the second examples of the types of the function, which is void function. Okay, for your information, there are two types of the function, which is you will have the value returning function and also void function. So what is a void function? So void function is a function whose return type is void. So in the value returning function, you will have the data type, for example, doubles and the name of the function, and you also can have int and the name of the function. But in the void function, you will have the void and the name of the function. So in the void function, that does not returns a value. So this is different with the value returning function. So if the parentheses are empty, it will indicate that no arguments are passed in. So in the void function, we can have void function with or without parameters. So in the void function, there are possibilities where you do not have the parameter. So of this option often used when all calculations or output is done within the definitions of the body and nothing is needed, which is the input or the output. So basically for the void function that do not have the parameters, the purpose is where they will just display the information in the void function, and in the main function you will just call the void function. Okay, so I proceed with the syntax for the function prototype of the void function. So here you will have the without parameter and with parameters. For the without parameters, you will just have the void and the function name with the blank of the bracket, which is without the parameters. While for the with parameters, you will have the void function name and you will have the parameter list. While for the syntax for the function definition, you will have for the without parameters, you will have the void function name with a blank. Then you will proceed with the body of the statement, body of the function. While for the with parameters, you will have the void function name with the formal parameter list. Then you will proceed with the statement. Okay class, please remember what are the differences between the void function and also value returning function. While for the function call in the void function, the purpose a call to a void function is a standalone statement, which is you will just have the function name and the parameter, which is blank for the without parameters, while for the with parameters you will have the function name and the actual parameter list. Okay class, please remember where we will call the function. So where is class? Okay, basically we will call the function in the main function, whereas you will assign it with the value that you already declared in the main function. Then I'll proceed with the void function without the parameters. Okay, for your information, for the void function that do not have the formal parameters, there is no information will be passed in and also out. So this type of the function usually good only for the displaying information about the program or for printing statement. Okay, for example, I want to display the information regarding the area of the circles. Okay, basically you will have another function that already calculate the area of the circles, but in the void function for the displaying area of the circles, you will just display without the parameter. So this is the examples of the void function without the parameter. Okay. So first, at the header, you will have the function prototype. So for the function prototype, you will have the void and the name of the function, which is print stars. Since it is without the parameter, so this bracket will be blank. Then you will end it with a semicolon. Then you will have the main function, where you will call the function print stars, which is you already declare here, which is you will have the void print stars. So in the function void print stars, you will display, which is you will have the cout statement, and you will display the star here. So for your information, there is 2 lines of the stars in the print stars. Okay, class. So this is the differences between the void and also value returning function, whereas in the void function, they do not have the return statement here. So in the main body, which is the main function, so you want to print the stars, so you will just call the function, which is print stars. Then you want to display hello student. Then you want to print another print stars, so you will call the print stars. Then you will display cout topic function. Then you will display another print stars, and you will call the function print stars. So here I will try to compile it in the code block. So here this is the coding. So I will try to run. So here this is the output. Okay, as I already show you how they will be compiled. First, they will print the stars, which is the function. So here you will have 2 lines of the stars. Then you display the hello student. So here you will have the hello student. Then you will call again the function, which is print stars. So here you will have another 2 lines of the stars. Then you will display the topic function. So here you will have the topic function. Then you want to display another one function, which is print stars. So you will have another 2 lines of the stars. So this is the output. Then I'll proceed with the examples of the void function with the parameters. So in the void function with the parameters, it is act as the communication link between the calling function, and the call function is established by using a parameters. Okay, so this is the example of the void function. So in the void function, you will have the function for the void display that consists of the parameter, which is char name 20 and also char ID 30. Then you will have the cout statement, whereas you need to display the name and also the ID. So you will have the cout name and also cout ID. Then in the main function, you need first to initialize and declare the char name. and char ID. Then you will display the cout statement, which is enter name, cin.getLine name 20, because they use a char, so you need to have the cin.getLine. Then you need to cout enter ID. Then you will have the cin.getLine ID 30. Then here, this is the function call for the display function. So here you will have the name of the function, which is display, and you will have the parameter, which is name and ID. Then don't forget, you will need to have the function prototype here at the header, which is you will have the void display and the data type only, which is char and another char. Okay, class. So there is getch here. So what is getch here? Okay, for your information, getch function here will read a single character from the keyboard but does not show on the screen. So in order to have the getch, you need to have the header, which is include conio.h. So I will show you the coding. So here is the coding for the void function with the parameter. So I will try to run it. Okay, so here in the main function, they ask you to enter the name. So because we use a char, so we can have a space here. For example, I want to put my name, Najwa. Then enter the ID. For example, I want to have Najwa 123. Then they will display my name, which is Najwa, and my ID, which is Najwa 123, because here you already call the function display here. So this is the output for the function with a void function with a parameter. So this is the other examples of the void function with a parameter. Okay, for examples for this question, they will ask you to have a function without the return value, which is void calculate area with the parameter, the length, and also the width. So here you will have the float length, which is float L, and float W, which is for the width. Then you need to first declare the area because you want to calculate the area, right? So here you will have float area, and you will have the process, which is the calculation area equals to length times the width, which is L times the W. Then you need to have the cout statement here, which is cout the area is. Then you will display the area. Okay, class. So the differences between the void function and the value returning function is, if you want to use a void function, you will have the display statement here. But if you want to use a value returning function, here you will have the data type, which is double or float. Then here you do not have the display statement, but you will have the return area here. Then in the main function, you need to have the float length and width, whereas you will declare the length and also width. Then you will have the cout statement, whereas you need to enter the length and width of the rectangles. Then you have the cin statement, which is length and also width. Then this is the function call, whereas you will call the function of the cal area with the parameter length and also width. Then don't forget to put the function prototype at the header, which is you will have the void cal area with the parameter only the data type, which is float and also float. So try to do this. Okay, so in the main function, they ask you to enter the length and the width of the rectangle, right? So here, for example, I want to put the length is 4.0 and 5.0. 4.0 and 5.0. Then because you already put the function cal area here, so they will automatically calculate the area based on the function cal area, which is length times the width, which is 4.0 times 5.0. They will get the value, which is the area is 20. So that's how the void function will be occur. Okay, try do this exercise. So for this exercise, you need to write the function definition for each of the following problems, which is you need to have the function display that display the following message when it is called. So because they do not have the return, so you will have the void display. So please remember, you need to have the function prototype. Then you need to have the main function that consists of the function call. Then you need to have the function display, whereas you will display the message of the welcome to a program that help you to estimate and the cost of your dream house. Then you also need to add another function, which is to cal area, whereas they will receive length and width of rectangular room, then calculate and returns the area of the room. So here, because they want to return the area of the room, here the keyword is returned, so you need to use the value returning function, whereas you will have the function double cal area or float cal area with the parameter of the length and the width. Then you will have the process of calculate the area. Then lastly, you will return the area. Then continue with the other exercise. And at the end, you need to write a main function to test all of those functions. Then I'll proceed with the two types of the formal parameters. So the first type of the formal parameters is value parameters, while for the second one is reference parameters. So I will go through one by one of those types of the formal parameters. So what is the value parameters? So value parameters is a formal parameters that will receive a copy of the content of the corresponding actual parameter. Then it is passing by a value parameter. While for the reference parameters, it is a formal parameters that will receive the location, which is the memory address of the corresponding actual parameter, and it is also passing by a reference parameter. So here you need to know the differences between both the value and also the different reference parameters. So for the value parameters, so there are conditions whereas if a formal parameter is a value parameters, the value of the corresponding actual parameter is copied into it. And the value parameters has its own copy of the data, and during the program executions, the value parameter manipulates the data stored in its own memory space. For example here, first I will declare x with the data type int. So the formal parameter x is a local variable. So it is a duplicate the value of the actual parameter. Then it cannot change the value stored from the actual parameter. Then the actual parameter may be a constant, variables, and also the expression. And the actual parameter is only read only. So I will go through with the examples. Okay, for example here, you will have the void function f2. So this is the void function with the name of the function f2. Then you will have the parameter which is intx. Then you will have the display statement, which is you will have the cout the value of x is. Then you will call the x here. Okay, in the main function, first you can have the passing a constant. For example, here you already put the value of the x, which is 44. So here you will have the function f2 with the parameter value, which is you will passing a constant value, which is 44 here. Then you try to initialize a new value, which is u with the value of 55. Then you want to passing a value with variables. For example, here you will change the parameter for the function f2 with the u that you already initialized before this, which is 55. So here they will return 55. Then you will declare another variables, which is k. Then you will have the cout and cin statement, whereas you need to enter a new value of integer. Then you will enter the value of the k. So this is the value by the user. Then here you will display the function of f2 with the value of k that you already entered before this. Then you will declare initialize new value, which is v equals to 32. Then in the formal parameter by a value also, you can passing an expression, whereas you will have the f2, and here f2 is the name of the function. Then here is the expression, whereas you will expression 2 times u is 55 minus by 3 times v, so v is 33. Then they will return the value. So I'll show you how this coding will be run and built. So here first you need to have the include iostream. Then because you need to have the function prototype, which is first you need to have, okay, another one you need using name space std. Then you need to have the function prototype, which is void f2 with only the data type int and end with a semicolon. Then I will try to compile it. Okay, class. So here, first, they will display the value of x because here you already called the function f2. So F2, they will display the value of X is, and they will call the X. So here, because you're already passing a constant variable, which is 44, so they will display the value of X is 44. Then they will display the value of X is 55. Why? Because here you already initialize U equals to 55, and you change the variables here with U. So here you already assign with 55. So when you call the function F2, so they will display the value of X is refers to U, which is 55. Then I will proceed with the cout statement, which is masukkan satu nilai integer. You need to enter a new value of the integer. For example, I want to put 60. Then I will enter. So they will display F2 K. So here they will passing the variables of K. For example, I put the variables of the K value is 60. So here they will display the value of X is 60. Then you try to declare initialize another value of the variables, which is V equals to 33. Then you try to display the function with a passing expression. So here you will have the function name, which is F2. Then you will have the expression, which is 2 times U, which is 55, minus by 3 times V, which is 33. So here, the value of X is 11, because you already passing a expression. So that's how the formal parameters by a value will be occur. So it can done by passing a constants, passing a variables, and also passing an expression. Okay, then I'll proceed with the structure, how the parameter passing by a value. So for example here, you will have the variable A and also variable X. They will use different memory cells. So here, in the main function, you will initialize and declare the value of A and also B. So you will have int A equals to 5 and int B equals to 7. So here you will have, this is for the main function. So you will have the memory cells for the A and also for the B. So A is, the value is 5, while for the B is, the value is 7. Then you will call the function exchange with the parameter A and also B. So this is for the void function for the exchange. So you will have the void exchange and the parameter int x and also int y. So here you want to exchange the value of x with the value of y. So first you need to have the different memory cells for the value of x and y, which is for this and this. Then you need to declare a new variable, which is temp. Then you will assign the temp equals to the x, whereas you first will put the variables of the x into the temp. So here in the temp you will have the variables of x, which is 5. Then you will assign x equals to the y. So here they will change the value of x, which is 7, and the value of y is 5. Then you will assign the value of y equals to the temp. So here for the temp now is 5, right? So you will display the value of y is 5. So I will show you how this structure will be occur. So here this is the coding. So here you will first declare initialize in the main function, which is for the a and also b, which is referred to the x and y, which is the value is 5 and 7. Then you will call the function of the exchange that with the parameter a and also b. Then you will have the function for exchange with the parameter x and also y. Then you also have the temp, where you will do the exchange. Then please add the display statement, which is see out the value of y is, then you will call the y. So I will compile it. So here you will assign the temp. Then we'll assign the temp with the value of x. So temp equals to 5. Then you will exchange the value, which is x equals to y. So the value of x is 7. And you will assign the value of y equals to the temp. So before this, temp equals to x, right? So y equals to 5. So when you display the value of y is, so they will display the temp, which is 5. Then I'll proceed with the reference parameters. So what is reference parameters? So if a formal parameter is a reference parameter, it will receive the memory address of the corresponding actual parameter. And the reference parameter also will store the address of the corresponding actual parameter. And during the program execution, in order to manipulate the data, the address will be stored in the reference parameter, directs it to the memory space of the corresponding actual parameter. So for your information, for the reference parameter, it can pass one or more values from a function, and it is also can change the value of the actual parameters. So basically, the reference parameters are useful in 3 situations. The first one is when returning more than one value, changing the actual parameters, and lastly, when passing the address will save memory space and also times. So I will show you the examples. For example here, I will have the declaration of the reference parameter. So here, you need to have the and sign after the data type, which is we refers as the reference parameter. So here you will have the int with the and symbols and the variables, which is x. So for the formal parameter, x is a local reference. So the reference parameter does not receive its own memory cells. It shares the memory cells of the matching arguments from the calling statement, and it's synonym for the actual parameter, which is within the function body. The reference parameter becomes an alias for the matching variables in the calling statement. And the reference parameter also can change the actual parameter, and the actual parameter must be a variable, and the actual parameter is a read-write. Whereas the any statement from the body of the function which give a value to a reference parameter, it will actually give that value to the matching variables of a function call. Then I'll proceed with the diagram how the parameter passing by a reference will be done. Okay, for your information, in the passing parameter by a reference, the variables of a and x will share the same memory cell. Okay, this is different with the parameter passing by a value, whereas they will use different memory cells. So that's why when we use the passing parameter by a reference, you will save memory space because you will share the variables in the same memory cell. Okay. So you will have the same structure with the previous coding, whereas you first will need to have the main function that consists of the declaration and initialization of the a and b. So first you will and slash a equals to 5 and b equals to 7. Then you will call the function which is exchange a and also b. Then you will have the void function for the exchange with the passing parameter by a reference. So here you will have the symbol for the reference which is n symbols. So here you will have int with the reference symbols x and int with the reference symbols for the y. Then you will declare the temp. Then you will assign the temp with the x, and x will be changed with the y, and y will be assigned with a temp. So I will show you how this will occur in the coding. So here you will have the same structure from a previous one, but the differences here is you just need to add the reference symbols, which is n symbol here for the x, and also n symbol here for the y, which is refers to the reference parameter. Then don't forget to change also your function prototype, which is you will have the data type int with the reference symbols, and another one which is data type int with the reference symbols. So when I try to compile it, so you also will get the same value, which is the value of y is 5. But the differences between the passing formal parameter by the value is, for the value, they will use the difference memory cells, while for the reference, they will save memory space. Besides that, for the value parameter, it is the read only, while for the reference parameter, they will use the read write. While for the actual parameter, they can pass by using a constant, variables, and also expression, while for the reference parameter, they only can be passed using a variables only. That's the differences. Please take note about that. Okay, let's try to do this exercise first. Then you can check with my answer. Okay, this exercise asks you, whereas the government servants are given a 75% bonus of their old salary and salary increment of 10%. So you need to write a function that receives the old salary, whereas they will calculate the new salary and bonus, and returns both the new salary and bonus. So here you will have a return statement. So you need to use a value returning function. So here you will have two functions, which is function for calculate new salary, and another one is calculate the bonus. Then you will have the main function where that will call for both, for the calculate new salary and also for calculate the bonus. So how to do it? Okay class, so first you will have a function for calculate new salary with the parameter for all salary here. Then you will assign the new salary with a 0.0. Then the process is you will assign the new salary equals to all salary plus all salary times 0.10, which is referred to the 10%. So here this is the increment of 10% of their old salary. Then you need to return the new salary because you use the value returning function. Then for the calculate bonus, so here you will have the function for the float calculate bonus with the parameter float all salary. Then you will assign the bonus equals to 0.0. Then how to calculate the bonus? So bonus is 75% of the all salary. So here you will have the all salary times the 0.75. Then you will return the bonus here. Then here, in the main function, you need to assign and declare the all salary, new salary, and also the bonus. Then you will ask for the enter all salary. Then you will input your all salary. Then here, this is for the function call. So I will assign the function call with the new salary. So here you will have the new salary equals to cal new salary with the parameter all salary, and I will assign the bonus with the function call bonus, cal bonus with the parameter all salary. Then I will display the all salary, new salary, and the bonus here. Then don't forget to add the function prototype here, which is the float cal salary with the data type float, and float cal bonus with the data type float, and end it with a semicolon. So I will try to compile it. Okay, for example here I want to enter my all salary is 3,000. Then here I will display the old salary, which is 3,000, and the new salary. So the new salary, they will have it by refers to the function cal new salary, whereas you will have the old salary plus old salary times 0.10. So you will get 3,300. While for the bonus, they refers to the function cal bonus, whereas you will have calculation for the bonus, which is 75% from your all salary is your bonus. So they will return the bonus here, then the bonus is 2,250 ringgit. So that's how the answer. So I'll proceed with the scope of an identifier. So what is a scope of an identifier? So basically this scope of an identifier refers to where in the program an identifier is accessible or visible. So you need to recall the identifier is the name of something in C++, such as variables or the function name. For example, you have variables for int, number, and so on. So for your information, there are two types of the scope of variables. The first one is local variables, and the second one is global variables. So you need to know what are the differences between the local variables and the global variables. So what is local variables? So local variables is a variables that will declare within a function or block. So basically, a local variables are not accessible outside of the function or block, and it is may only be accessed and manipulated in the function or block whereas it is declared. For example here, you will have the main function that consists of the local variables, which is int numbers. So here, the variables number in the main function are not referring the same memory location with a local variables in the function void negative, because it is local variables. So it means that the variables that you already declare here, which is int numbers, can only be accessed within the main function only. And for the local variables in the parameter of the void negative, they can only be accessed within this void negative function only. So that's we call as the local variables. So what is global variables? So global variables is a variables that we declare outside of every function definition. And this global variable also can be accessed and manipulated anywhere in a program, which is it can be accessed within the main function and also the other function. And this global variable also not encouraged because program readability may be compromised and maintenance more tedious, because it will affect all of your full programming. But if you use the local variables, you can just edit or update within the function of the local variables. For example here, as a global variables. So here you will declare outside of the main function, which is global. So you will have the int number outside of the main function, and you do not need to declare the numbers inside the main function and inside the parameter of the void negative, because it will refers for both, because it is a global variables. So when you want to edit the variables or declarations of the global variables, it will affect it both in the main function and also void negative function. So in the following examples, number in the main and also negative function are referring the same memory location. Then I'll proceed with the additional notes. So here, this is the examples of the function that receive the parameter char that we already done before this. So here, they will have the void display that consists of the parameter char name 20 and char ID 30. So what I want to show here is the differences between the previous one with this one is, in this one, you will have the pointer, which is the star symbol here, in the char name and also char ID. So what is a pointer class? So pointer, they doesn't hold the value itself, and it contains the address of a value in a memory. So for example here, you will have the char pointer name that doesn't directly contain a name, but it contains the address of character somewhere in the computer memory. So that's the function of the pointer here. The class, that's all for today. So from this chapter, you already learned about the definition of the function, the type of the function, which is predefined function and also user-defined function. Then there are two types of the function that you already learned, which is for the user-defined function, you have two types, which is value returning function and also void function. For the value returning function, you will have the return statement, while for the void function, you do not have the return statement, but you just have the display statement. Then you also already learned today about the formal parameter, which is there are two types of the formal parameter, which is the value parameter and also reference parameter. So you need to know what are the differences between both. Then you also already learned about the scope of variable, which is local and also global. So local, basically you can access within the function only, while for the global, you can access for every function without initialize it in each function. So it is global, whereas you can use anywhere. So that's for function topic.